everybody. Thanks for tapping in today. This is Tap In Thursdays with your host, KayVick of KayVickRelations. Today we got a special guest on the show, TEVIN the Comedian.
What's up?
Inserts laughing people in the background. Okay. So, as you know, I like to start the show off with a quote of the day. This quote is very simple, but I think it's powerful. It has a valuable message. So the quote of the day today is, don't try to convince, do it with conviction. So there's no reason for you to try to convince your friends to buy your product or convince your family members to buy your product. Just continue to produce quality content and it will speak for itself. Strangers will probably buy your product more than a friend or a family member would. So don't even worry about that. What do you think about that quote though?
Nah, I agree with it a lot, just because that's kind of the same thing how it works in comedy, really, because I don't know, people think they don't see you, you know, I don't know, maybe at like certain like venues, or they don't see you, you know, at certain shows where, you know, like there's like sold out crowd and stuff, that they think that like you still like not putting that groundwork and you still not benefiting off of, you know, doing these shows and stuff, but they're wrong, you know. And like I'm just like I'm right here, like I'm a reason right here, like I've experienced it where it's like, you know, I've done certain shows and stuff, and it's one of them things where like my work just spoke for itself. So people, you know, they gravitated towards me and was like, hey, you know, I like your comedy. I appreciate all your jokes. I understand all your jokes. So that's definitely one of them things that you do learn. You learn that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think even as entrepreneurs, you can't expect to satisfy all of your customers, right? There's going to be someone that just can't get with the program or just can't see it your way, or you know, you just did everything that you could and they still weren't satisfied, and you just have to move on and learn from that and keep it pushing. But you can't be stagnant and, you know, let that deter you from, you know, doing what you love.
Yeah, you can't just be trying to just convince everybody. Sometimes it just be one of them things where you just gotta show. You gotta put it out there. You ain't even gotta worry about it being like, oh, who gonna like this or who gonna like that. I struggled with that in the beginning with my comedy. I felt that I had a thing where I didn't want to tell a lot of people that I did comedy, or I didn't want a lot of people to think that I was just trying to make them laugh. I wanted people to genuinely just like to feel like that vibe, that, you know. And then it was one of those things where as like I got older, it got crazier because more and more people start telling me like, hey, you should do like comedy, you know. And then that kind of helped, kind of gave me that push that I needed, because it was just one of the things where I was like, wow, I want to make sure people take me serious. So I don't want you to think that like, oh, like, I don't know, like I'm out here just trying to make you laugh, and then it's one of them things where you not understanding, is he trying to make me laugh, or is this really him? It's just like, this is really me, you know?
Yeah. Because I've known you for a long time. You've always been funny, but I don't think you ever put it on display as a comedian. Hey, I'm a comedian, I tell jokes.
A little bit here or there. I did a few different things, but it's one of those things where, you know, I feel I had a lane. And I have like a lane. And so many things are going on when like you're growing up. Like, you know, you want to party, you got school, you know, I was working. So there was a lot of other different things that were going on, but I still made sure that like you got that from me, that we were gonna have a good time with me always. Like everybody knows I'm guaranteed a great time. So what is it? Even there's like little funny videos, even when doing like the what is it called when
skits.
They do the, not really like the skit, well, kind of the skits. I recorded a video of like another kid that made another video like at my school, so I pretty much like mimicked the whole video.
Oh, side by side.
But not that deep because I wasn't around yet.
Oh,
so I
okay.
just made the video just funny, but like the whole school, like it was like, it blew up on like Facebook. The whole, everybody knew about it. It was like, it was a thing just because I pretty much, oh man, it's like a word for that. I don't know what the young kids use these days, where it's just like, I pretty much, yeah, you know, it's a word for it where you pretty much, you know, like, it was like a parody, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I made like a parody, like it was like a parody video. Yeah, because he wanted to be a rapper.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I did was I dressed up just like him and recorded
like a reenactment of
the situation.
Okay,
you know. So those are like little things. I was the guy. What is it? The hosted. What is it? what did I host? Lord knows, a talent show.
Okay.
You know, like I did little stuff. So there were certain things that I orchestrated, but at the same time, I don't know if it was enough. If you weren't with me a lot, then you probably didn't, you didn't see it, I guess,
right.
or you just, like, you knew I was like a silly dude, but like, you didn't know it was gonna be that deep where I was going home and like writing jokes, or I have this thing where I say like, people used to take notes and I wrote jokes, like I really would. So we'd be in class and stuff, and I'd just be somewhere chilling off, and
not paying attention.
Yeah, not paying no attention at all, like, and then you make that up your senior year, so you figure out how that go, So I was like, oh man, it's gonna pay off.
Yeah,
like these jokes gonna pay off. Not right now,
one day.
but one day, yeah,
One day.
Yeah.
And that day is today, and every day after this.
Yeah,
so
you keeping it going.
it's definitely a vibe. Y'all need to tap in. He is very funny, and you do comedy shows all over, right?
Yes,
New York,
yes. Which was a crazy thing in itself. The same thing. Stand up is one of those things where I always knew I was gonna do it. I always knew I was gonna be good at it, and it was just one of those things where, I just had to. I needed like a little bit more, I guess, assurance. So it got so weird because I had got like into like a car accident, and almost like bit like my whole lip through. So like it was crazy. Like my whole mouth was just like split open, like right there before the other side, like so I felt it, but it was one of the crazy things. Like thank God I didn't bite through my whole my whole lip.
Right.
And it had like woke me up. It woke me up. It was like, oh man. I said just in that moment, I didn't know if I was not gonna be able to talk again. Anything could have happened. I could have shattered so many things could have happened though. God forbid, so many things. So at that point, it woke me up and it made me feel like, hey, I gotta go out here and I gotta start getting some of this done. I gotta start getting some of this stuff off my chest. I gotta start going and expressing myself in this way that I always knew, that I always did. I always knew I was gonna do it this way. Like, it's time. So that's when I kind of started like branching out, and I'm hitting up like little, open mics here or there. It's one of those things where, like I said, it could be a crowd of like 5 people. It could be 15 people. It could be 20 people. It's been 80 people. It's been like 100 people.
That's a big crowd.
So yeah, it's scary, but it's cool though. It's cool because that's like the whole thing that gets me going. It's one of them things where it's nothing like being on the stage. It's like as soon as I get on the stage, like just like that, like a snap of a finger, like I get in a certain mode. Well, that's just the thing.
Nervous?
I think everybody is different.
Yeah.
It depends where I'm at. What am I doing? When what is it? Like my first time doing it, I definitely was nervous, and it was one of those things where I wasn't on stage for long. I was on stage maybe for like 2 minutes. I didn't say anything I had written before. Excuse me. So I literally it was off the top. And I got like some laughs, and I was like, okay. And I wasn't on, like I said, like, I think, the max was like 5 minutes, but I was only on stage for 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Because I needed to just get a good feel. So this was the first time, so I was like,
that's fine.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let me like get out here for a minute. And it was kind of crazy because it was another like that push. That was another push for me. So I was like, okay, 2 minutes was cool. I heard some laughs. The crowd really wasn't like a crazy big crowd. I was like, it really wasn't no black people out there. I'll be honest, So I'm just thinking like a lot of things was like racing through my mind. I was like, dang, was I saying too much? Was it just too much like that? And they just couldn't relate? Or was it this? Was it that? And so I chilled for a minute because I just like life. So many things going on. COVID happened. So that kind of made things weird for a minute too. I couldn't just go and like hop around comedy clubs and stuff like that, open mics. I couldn't go and do none of that kind of stuff because it was just on pause. Like, and it was weird because we really didn't know what it was. And then I got it early on. That was another push. Because when I got it, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. Nobody knew anything. We had to go to the ER. It was a crazy situation. And literally, I had never, ever, ever, ever felt that way ever before. And it woke me up. I was like, okay, now. At first, like I went out here and I did it, and I know I can do it. So now it's really on me. Like, you need to get out here now, because there it go again. You know, you don't know what could have happened. God forbid anything.
Miss opportunity.
You know, you don't know what. You know, so I'm like, oh my goodness, let me get out here. So I get back out here, and then I'm jumping right into it, doing my full 5 minutes. People coming up to me, and people are having certain conversations with me. They're like, wow, like that was funny, or like, how you come up with that, or I would hear just like crazy stuff like, why I don't see you, why I haven't seen you here before, something like that. Like, how long you been doing this? And this is still early on. I haven't been doing stand up that long.
Building your audience.
Yeah, this is crazy. So I'm just like, oh man, what? Okay, so I keep going forward. I keep doing open mics, doing the shows. This dude, he from New York. Now, mind you, he asked me, he was like, hey, can you record my set? And I was like, as long as it don't interfere with my set, I'll record your set, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a problem with it. So he gave me his phone. I recorded his set for him. Now, he told his jokes, life went on. So I said, hey, can you return the favor? He was like, yeah, like for sure. I go on stage.
Collaboration.
You know? And I ain't gonna lie, that was a good one. It was hilarious. And the same thing. Everything was up here. So I'm still not even tapped into things that I've like written yet fully. I splashing here or there, but a lot of it is really just from the top. Mm-hmm. So he talks to me after my set, and he's just like, man, that was crazy. Like, hey, like you fire, like just wanting to know just more about me. He had a conversation, you know, had a few drinks, and then he just was like, all right, well, I'm doing some stuff in New York. I have a show. And it's called Roasted. And pretty much what happens is we like roast each other back and forth, whatever. I said, okay. Now, if you've known me, I've been in the game for I've been doing the roasting. That's one of my favorite. I'm not even the one. And if you really know me, you know I get to business. I don't play around with these jokes, and definitely not roasting. Remember,
yeah. I'm about to bake
you. Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember that because people would say that to me, but I always was further than that, so it was just like, whatever, I don't have just say your joke. Just get your joke off so I can get my joke off. Just get your joke off, you know? I was a dude who people get mad at, and then they would like maybe feel some kind of way, and then everybody start acting real tough now, like you done, because you see people not laughing at your jokes no more, they're laughing at mine, and I didn't even start it. You started it, so now I'm like, oh, what's wrong? You feel me?
Yeah.
So, like, life go on for real. Yeah, he talks about me getting on the show or whatever. I tell him, I'm like, you know, I think about it. Yeah, life go on for a minute. So, boom. Hanging out, he keep hitting me up. He was like, bro, you know, like, I'd be like the first, like, black dude on the show. I said, that got me more involved a little bit, because I was like, that's kind of cool. You know, that'd be cool. But I was like, nah, I don't know. I watched some of the other ones, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's my lane.
Right.
You know? So, life go on. He hit me up again, and I was like, you know what, bro? All right. And now, mind you, it came with a care package. So this wasn't like when he approached me, this was like something he was like, you would do like for free. It came with a care package. Like, he was like, you would get X amount, blah, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I said, I'm going to do it. I go out to New York, we do the show. Now, I get my jokes off, he get his jokes off. Now, that's just how I'm learning how business and how things work, because I had other jokes, you know, but we never put the other jokes up, you know.
And
so things were, I don't know, things were edited, you know, and it's always love. So it's never, you know, but it was just one of them things where I had other jokes, you know, fully, and I could have, you know, still, heights could have been, you know, but we still, it ain't really up to me, you know, yeah. So this is things like I'm learning, you know. So life goes on. And he hits me up. He said the show, or whatever, like that episode is like the #1 episode. It did this, it did that. People were tapping in with them. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's cool. Like, that's what's up, bro. Like, you know, life go on. He's like, well, I'm doing some shows now. I'm going to start doing these shows, and I want to book you for some shows. I said, say less. And then that's just how I started going back and forth and doing the New York thing. And the New York thing is really cool because it's just, like, it's known for comedy where everything is taking place. So for me to go there and for people to already be more familiar with just that atmosphere, you know, not everybody thinks of when they want to go and have a good time, like to go to a comedy show. Some people do. Some people might do because it's like, oh, it's different. So they might do it here or there. But like, not everybody's like, that's what they do on the regular is they go out there, you know? Because I had people even after doing even like my third show, I had like people come up to me and was like, hey, like I seen you a few times. And I was like, yeah. And they're like that was awesome. You didn't use none of the same jokes or anything. And it's one of the things where I started peeping. I was like, wow, I didn't, did I? Oh man.
People paying attention.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. People up there, all other like seasoned comedians that's been doing comedy for like longer than I have, people like they get on their phones. Everybody has like a whole different, like everybody has their own process. So it's just crazy to just see all of that. And I'm like, wow. Like I keep doing the shows in New York. Another dude that got booked for one of the shows in New York tapped in with me. He said, hey, I live in PA. And pretty much I throw some shows, and I throw some shows with, what is it? Voodoo Bury. So, and that's like a big deal. Yeah, it's like a Bury, they got a few different like locations and stuff, and they're big, yeah. And it was crazy because these are just like bigger venues connected with like, you know, just like, big names, you know, so I'm feeling it. It feels wonderful, you know, and I'm expressing myself. And it's just one of those things where, you know, it all makes sense. Like, you know, like I realized right then and there, I'm like, oh man, this is it, you know. Going and experiencing like a real green room where the artists really hang out at, you know, people showing love, people just like, I'm dang near getting interviewed by people just watching me up there for 5-10 minutes, like, you know. This is crazy. It literally is crazy just how people, like, you know, certain people just be like, they're positioned in your life for like a reason, you know. So these people, they recognize, they seen it, and
before you could see it,
even a lot of people did. It weird. I can remember freaking this in Texas. School had just let out. I'm walking with my friend to his house. The whole time, from us walking from school to his house, literally, we was just like talking. It was like a group of people because it was other people with us. Yeah, we were just like all talking. By the time we get to his house, they're like, "Dang!" Somebody says like, "Dang," and I'm like, "What?" And then my other dude was like, he's like, "Man, that could have been some stand up, bro. That could have been a whole." But we just was like talking. You know, this it's like 2007. You know what I'm saying? This is like, I'm a young cat. Like, you feel me? So in my mind, I am like trying to conquer this, but this is literally one of the hardest things I've ever had to I've ever experienced ever. Like comedy. It's not easy. It's hard going up there, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know your stuff. You gotta really, you feel me? Because, I mean, like, everybody different. So some people can't go up there and go from the top. Most of the time, like, I can go up there and go from the top. I've had situations where I had a show on my birthday. I got real drunk. It was my birthday.
Before you got on stage?
I got on stage, I got real drunk.
Okay.
1 second.
And yeah, took off. Offset. That was offset. I took off. And I was offset. What is going on?
Yeah. Okay. So how did that go? How did that turn out for you? Was your jokes more fire, or was it like more sloppy?
It wasn't like sloppy, but it definitely it was fire because of the subject matter, but it wasn't
your best.
Definitely not. And it was one of those things where I realized as I'm like learning, I can't be on that. So these are things that like I'm experiencing that I'm just figuring out and like navigating through, like just being a comic.
It matters.
And it does. Like that just whole made, I was like, oh, I feel like I'm slipping off my pimping. Like what was I talking? And I talked about different categories of lesbians. So white lesbians and different categories of like dykes. I talked about all different categories. I'm sorry, I did, and I didn't have to do that. But I didn't have to do that. So the white with the Justin Bieber ones, you know, and then the black ones, you know, the Manny Freshes, the Missies. I talked about all of them. I did.
I think though, as a comedian, you all touch on sensitive topics, right? Because it's funny, and even though we may not admit it, you know, it's things that we either avoid talking about and y'all bring it to the forefront and they don't like it, or it's just the real, you know, and it's, again, funny, or it's supposed to be. But yes, a lot of people may take offense to some of the jokes. So I wanted to talk to you about how you come up with jokes. And you mentioned that on your first show, they gave you 2 minutes. I mean, how do you plan for that? And, you know, you prep the day before all night. You get on there and they're like, oh, you only get 2 minutes. How do you cut your jokes in half? And how do you know which ones to say based on your audience? Like, how do you adjust yourself in that moment?
So, that's crazy. They gave me longer than 2 minutes. I only did 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. They gave you the 5.
They gave me the 5.
They gave you the 5, but you only did the 2.
I only
okay.
did the 2.
Misunderstood.
Everything in moderation. I only did the 2.
Okay.
I didn't know. You feel me? I didn't know. I didn't know what the temperature of the water was before I wanted to get in it. So I had to put my foot in it. I had to put, you know what I'm saying, before I just hopped out. Yeah, it would have been this weird. I'm up there trying to.
Just in general, then.
Squidward.
In general, then, like,
no,
how did you plan?
Because I've had other shows where that's happened to me before. I hosted this festival, and it was one of them things where, like, it was a scheduling conflict with, like, me, like, having to leave, like, work and then go to work on the stage. It didn't mesh well, so my time was kind of a little adjusted, and it was weird.
My balance was off.
Yeah, so I ended up being able to only host like a smidge of it, and they was like, hey, because of time and everything, and because of daylight, they were like, hey, because it was outside, they were like, we have to like cut, you know, a little bit of like what you had going on, because I think I had like 15 minutes, and they were like, hey, we gotta cut it. And you know, that's one of those things that like I'm still learning, because I had wrote some things that I wanted to say. So the one thing was it was all fresh, but I still, here or there, I had a few things that I splashed in there, but most of what I wrote was like fresh, and I could have picked like the other half of my set to use than the half that I did use. And that was just me trying to like, that's on me for like not understanding my audience fully, you know, because I was talking about vaccines. I was talking about conservatives. I was talking about, I talked about Nicki Minaj. Yeah. And I felt that, it's crazy. So the Barbs was mad because Nicki said something about the vaccine. The Barbs was mad about it. And then what the whole joke was is just like, what if the Barbs stormed the White House? Yeah, and I was like, what we had done then? I was like, they was walking around with dildos and all type of this different stuff. I'm sorry. It's just come with the job. It come with the job. It do.
Again, the sensitive topic.
You know?
So if you're attending a comedy show, for instance, I don't know. I feel like you should have your guard a little bit down, because anything could come out of your mouths. You know? Like, seriously, and that's just the risk you taking. I mean, you could even get called out, you know, and that's just the risk you taking once you buy that ticket to the show.
it was just different because in the midst of that, everything was great though. I ain't gonna lie. The build up. So when I got up, all the build up to me getting up on stage, I got some jokes off, and then of course it just comes down to a point where I had to, I heard some people like talking or something, so then I had to embarrass some people. That happens, but everyone enjoyed that. They all loved it, and then right when I got into my set. And then it just was everybody just wasn't feeling it. I think what it was just like the vaccination part of it. People just didn't want to.
Too soon.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. That's real sensitive for everybody right now. Yeah. It's getting better, but it's just one of the things where it's like, hey, like you don't have to be like afraid to just say like that's not what you want, and like nobody's gonna. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge you. Like if you're not on that, and that's the whole thing. I ended up telling everybody. So I was like, hey, I don't want y'all to all go get vaccinated. That wasn't what I was saying. I just want y'all to see the connection to how everything made sense. That like, why would it take a celebrity to have an opinion about this and not be informed at all? Like she can have her own like opinion and it's okay, but for her to have such a big platform and for people to follow that just based off of her just sharing her opinion about it. And that was like the whole essence of the joke. So some people got it, some people didn't. And of course I had some whole shit I was leading into. So I was like, damn, if I would have known Cleveland just wanted to hear some shit, I brought nigga shit. I had nigga shit on me. I was like, oh shit, I should have just said that nigga shit. It happens. And then that's just a part of me just like I said, learning and learning like my crowd and everything. As far as it goes with like writing jokes, I've been writing jokes. I got notebooks from, I don't even know. I got notebooks from like elementary school. And I would talk about all type of just dumb stuff. I'll talk about like pooping, I'm not even gonna lie. I'll talk about, the toilet, the porcelain. I'll talk about I don't know. I don't like my teachers. Yeah, give me suck face. I don't know why I wrote that before. Swear to God, I wrote give me suck face.
You too young.
I wrote it. Yeah. But I have these notebooks and it's just like crazy. So that's just stupid stuff. As I got older, when I wasn't really trying to do it, when I was just doing it, in the beginning, I was a kid and you're more carefree, so I was just doing it.
Just to do it.
So like when I was coming up with these different like these jokes or these funny concepts that like people probably they would like hear me. I'm sure, I don't know, people probably look back on it, they'd be like, dang, like Tev always said that. And it was like, Dale always said that because like that was my joke. Like I said that, and like people like I haven't seen them in a day bring up something, and be like, oh yeah, like why you don't say that no more? That was a joke. I don't know. You feel me? Like that was just a joke that just carried on because more people they like loved it and it just became like a thing. So writing the jokes is just so weird because a lot of it is. It's one of them sad things to say. A lot of it's most of the time really not a joke. If that makes sense,
no, I get you. Like I mentioned, like you got to speak on the real, and that makes it funny. And you spoke a little bit about this, but what would you consider your style of comedy? You can even compare like a comedian to yours if you want. I know a lot of creatives don't like to compare themselves, but just to give people like a little sample.
I really don't. I don't know. Everything is just everything is different. Everything is so
versatile.
Situational. Yeah. So like sometimes I get up there and it just depends. Like I remember one time I had a whole set and it was actually out it was in New York and I was gonna say something because I had all this stuff written down. And then like my whole day was just like crazy. The day before the show was like crazy. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna say none of that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
I said, I think I'm gonna go up there because I gotta talk about this. They had me fucked up.
Yeah.
Somebody had me fucked up. So, excuse my language too. So I was just like, whatever. I got out there and everything was like from the top. And it was just
That's
you
what
feel
we
me?
want.
It was one of those things where people was like, wow.
Well, you gotta feel like, producing those jokes for people. Otherwise, it's not gonna have that message behind it or even that tone. So you gotta be.
I'm getting better with that.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I do it. I'm doing the shit for me, but as my journey and as I'm getting better, I'm realizing that a lot of it really ain't for me. It's like a lot of it really is for people.
Right.
You know? So that's why I have to be able to get this certain joke off in front of this crowd. I have to be able to switch that joke up in front of this crowd to be like, okay, like this is gonna be something that they can relate to, because what I'm doing here is they're not thinking about all that other bullshit. Right now, what I'm doing here is providing like a safety blanket. You know? So that means that you can openly be yourself and laugh and relate to what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? And then like vice versa, I can get off what I'm saying, my joke, and then we both relate, and you know, just for that, like that moment, you laughing and you enjoying yourself. You're not even thinking about like all your hardships, everything else that you just going through in life. You just focused on like, I'm at this show right now and this guy's making me laugh, and he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's more as I'm like, as time is going on. And I realized that with just like close friends I have, because I just got so busy. And like I was kind of like neglecting, you know, because I was doing so many different things at one point in time. I was doing a stand-up thing. I was doing a crowd work show for somebody else. I was doing, they had like the Wildin' Out in Akron. I participated in both of those. So those things, and then too, I gotta eat. You feel me? So I'm whole working. So many things were like pulling me in so many different directions. And I had just realized with just certain friends, like they hit me up, they hadn't seen me for a minute. Or then they'd be like, dang, like, I feel like I ain't laughed in a minute, Tev. Like, I would just hear certain stuff like that. And I'm like, dang.
Like, they miss your content.
Like, you know, like, oh, dang. Like, I feel that, bro. Like, or like, dang, you ain't hit me back. And, you know, like, this happened. And you feel me? Or, it'd just be certain things I had to turn down, too. So it'd be like, like, I hear, like, oh, we wanted you here because this or that. We wanted you to provide this, you know, but I just couldn't be there. I just had stuff going on. So that's how I learned, a lot of the times, when I'm doing this, that's what I feel like I was put here to do. It's just, you know, to kind of like relieve that for people. I feel like always. I feel like when I'm around people and we laugh and we enjoy ourselves and stuff, it's just like that same thing, you know. And then anybody that like knows me or ever like hung out with me, you know, I'm a breath of fresh air every time.
This is true. I stand by that. Your energy is definitely amazing.
Thank you.
So I know that people probably feel that on the stage.
Oh yeah, they love it.
And you spoke to this a little bit, just your journey and how you're learning from your experiences and things like that. Well, on the show, I like to at least throw in some tidbits here and there about entrepreneurship and just, you know, expanding on the things that we deal with, right, as entrepreneurs. And you're a creative, you are constantly putting time into coming up with these jokes and trying to adjust yourself, but you're doing what you love, right? You're doing what you love, and that's what's important, and you won't always have it figured out.
Yeah.
You won't always have it figured out. Your journey is going to change. You're going to have highs and lows. You know, you're going to get people who don't understand your jokes. You're going to get crickets in the crowd if you're a comedian sometimes, you know, and that's just, okay, if I got crickets, how can I up my ante a little bit so that next time I can have the whole crowd laughing?
I'm on that,
Yeah.
It's one of them things where, you know, I had these jokes where, I talk about, like, my dad. So I have like a joke that everybody loves where like I seen my dad at Giant Eagle, and this is like a true story. So like I seen my dad at Giant Eagle, and he look at me, I look at him. He look at me, I look at him, but like we both like unsure if we know who we like. But it's like I'm like, that's my dad, and he like Tevin, like, you know. So it's just one of them things where. Like, I go and I express this, and I tell this joke, you know, and people, they eat this up. They eat it up. And it's just one of the things where, like, that really happened, bro. Like, that's embarrassing. I had to go catch a flight. Like, I was at John Eagle getting little travel kit shit to go catch it. Literally, like, to go to the airport. Like, and I stopped to talk to my dad. Almost missed my flight, but I sit there and I talked to him. Yeah. Crazy, yeah.
So how is family important, you know, in all of this for you?
Family is really important. The thing with me is a lot of my family's from the South, so I don't see them as often as I would like to. And it's just one of those things where, like, it's just crazy. I got a text at like 3 a.m. and it's from my cousin Pookie. Yeah, swear. He said that
everybody got a cousin named Pookie.
Yes, he said he's orchestrating the family reunion this year.
That's
yep,
fun.
and then tap in with like shirt sizes, and he gave me the whole little itinerary, I guess, so far that they got, which is awesome. So that's like a very big blessing. So family is extremely important. It's just like, just being like on the road and just being like a comic. It's just, you know, a lot of this stuff you just be on your own. A lot of it just be real, you know, just like solo for real, just cause. Like I don't know, maneuvering, like just in and out of traffic, just pulling up at different places, you know. So that part, it'd be dope to have somebody, you know, that, you know, to have like, I don't know. Soon I'm gonna need a manager. Pretty much what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm gonna need a manager.
And in the last interview that I did, we spoke to having a team, how important it is to have a team, because you will not make it in this world or entrepreneurship in general without a team. You have to have a team. You can't do it on your own, because there's so many roles that need to be filled: marketing, social media, just all these things. And it's like, if you worry about all of those things that you're not really good at, say, so to speak, and you need to focus on what you are good at, which is comedy. So you definitely need a team for all that you do. Don't think that you can do this by yourself, you do, guys, because you can't.
Literally, I was like accepting everything. My DMs, everything was full, and I'm just doing all this stuff, and it just gets crazy because people who like know me were trying to do things like for free, or they were trying to do things that they were like changing up kind of whatever the plans, whatever things that we talked about beforehand. So like I would get there and then things would just be just different, just that quick. And it was like weird because it would be people who would reach out to me who like I didn't know, and they were always concrete. They said you would get X amount, or if you came and did this, you told jokes for this amount, or if you came and did this and put this outfit together for this amount, there it is. So that's one thing too that I'll just like never understand. I'm trying to grasp too, because that's when I woke up and was like, hey, I need a manager, because I just keep accepting this. I'm doing auntie Niecy baby shower. I'm doing all this different stuff. I'm doing wilding out, you know, every wilding out, but 4 wilding out practices was a soiree. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Everyone was. I'm there to get these jokes off. It was a soiree. It was backwoods in 17.
You gotta pick and choose like what you gonna, still
a good time. A good time. You know, it's over now. It happened. I wouldn't take it back.
But yeah,
where was my
dissecting priorities.
I did the second one.
Yeah,
I did 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But you
got the exposure and this opportunity to test out, you know.
The one we couldn't help. Everybody probably was signed up for 1, but 2, I knew what I was getting into with 2. I knew
so
what
yeah,
I
that's
was.
on you.
That was on me. That was on me.
But that's important that you need a manager for to avoid situations like that.
You know, because like what Squidward? What in the world? I don't know. I signed myself up for all these crazy shenanigans, you guys. No.
Look into that.
Yeah, make sure. Don't let these people turn the notifications.
Or ask the right questions before you get involved.
Just because I know you, are you gonna change things when I get there?
Right.
Ask
is it going to be a more professional?
Is it more professional?
Is this business or is it pleasure?
Do you want to hand me the mic when I get there?
Yeah, right.
If you do, you owe down.
So,
can you blame me now? What are you talking about?
No, I get you. Do you have any upcoming shows?
Okay, so this is what happened.
What happened was
I booked myself for some shows. I get an email. The email said, hey, heads up, you gotta be vaccinated for these shows now. If you aren't vaccinated for these shows, we're gonna give you a window, you gotta figure it out, boom, boom. I did a few of the shows, so I figured ain't nobody said anything to me. That was gonna be okay. I don't know. Is that me? I don't even know, being a rebel. I don't know, because I was just like, oh, like I don't know. People hit me up like, you coming through, and I'm like,
so you are not vaccinated. You are not vaccinated.
Plot twist: I am now.
Okay.
But this is just what happened. So everything is like so far ahead. So when I booked it, I booked these different things. I got the email. I read the email. Life went on. Like I said, I did one or two. I entertained one or two different things just on the strength of it's like, I guess, you know, people you like a little closer to, they just, you know, at the time, it was just like on the fence, but like it was required, but at the same time, like you're like, hey, we're still trying to figure out, you know, the ins and outs of it. Boom, boom, pull up. I was pulling up. I kept my mask on, went up there. We had microphone condoms. Pause, but we did. That's a big deal now. Microphone condoms. It's like a little shower cap you put over the microphone. Everybody need one.
Okay.
You need to get them. If you're doing something, you hosting a show or something like that, that's like the best way to go. Just because you can take that off. Everybody had their own individual. Just like when you go to hookah and do that, and like y'all nasty, y'all need to change them. But the hookah, you do the hookah, you're supposed to get the mouthpiece and change the mouthpiece.
Change the
when it's your
mouthpieces
turn.
on the hookah
I
stick.
don't care if cousin did it. You don't need to.
You don't need to do that.
So yeah, when it did my thing, whatever. So I assumed I was gonna be okay, but it just was like no. And then it's one of them things where when I finally went and got vaccinated, it had kind of just
opened
things
a lot of doors. Probably.
Well, it
right?
opened doors. Well, now going forward, but then just for everything I had booked up because of how long it took and everything. You know, you had to be fully vaccinated. You know, you got to wait or whatever.
Yeah.
It had it just affected everything, and then you know slots get filled, things happen. Yeah, so.
But now you're ready though. Look, now you're ready.
Now we
they
talking about business. I'm vaccinated now. I don't care.
Check
I don't
mark.
care. You too. Okay, I said, you too.
Yeah, I am.
You know my business. Okay. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, we good. I'm saying you can't. All right, we gonna tell each other
I went
business.
to the Larry June concert.
Oh yeah, we had to go. Yeah.
And they required that
had
too.
to. So,
but they also required, or
negative,
you could have negative
or something like
submitted a negative result.
24 hours. Something. I have seen that. Yeah, that's like the new wave, but.
So
I had to go get
you're
mine.
going to see this. I mean, this is our world that we're living in right now. I think everybody should get out there and get vaccinated. I know people have their own opinions about that. But on this platform, I'm supporting get vaccinated, guys. If you want to go back to a normal lifestyle, get vaccinated. Seriously. I mean, it's a lot of things that are impacting. You know,
they'll be mad too. They'll be mad, and I ain't no zombie. We not zombies.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah,
but we're okay. Yeah. Now, if I, a couple years down the line, growing an extra limb or whatever,
something like that, then
you know,
you the only one without an extra limb, I guess. Good for you.
Exactly. But we safe for now, and that's all that matters. And our families are safe. We get to hug on them every night. So
get vaccinated. Yeah. Church hugs, all type of grandma hugs.
Exactly. And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but a lot of people who aren't vaccinated, have a strong opinion about it, but yet they are the ones that are in the clubs,
all of that,
or and then going strip clubs, and then going back home, kissing on their family, and it's like,
sweating
come on,
everywhere.
let's make a decision here. What are your priorities here?
Yeah, just think about it. Yeah, think about it.
Think about
the person next to you. Yeah, think about a family member.
Right. Because that's really what did it for me. I had my reservations, of course. Yeah. But I'm like family all day. All day. Not do anything for that. So that's, you just have to want that too.
One of them things, yeah. There it is.
All right, so back to us. Speaking of COVID though, how and what ways has it impacted you?
It's just a shitty situation.
For all of us. Yeah.
Venues change, you used to see more space out there, and that's like not by choice. It's just because there's only certain capacity of people. One of them things where you having to like do the every other seat. The mask thing is cool because, and this is like a crazy thing, but I fly like a lot, and I've always worn a mask flying. So that was never like a weird, different thing. Yeah, honestly, people thought I was weird for wearing one.
Now look at us.
Yeah, it's crazy. I will always get just like a regular, like the regular like little mask. Everybody's wearing like the little throwaway one. I would get one, especially if not. I'm good. Now I wouldn't say every flight because sometimes I would forget one, but mostly every flight, especially one that was like longer than like 2 hours or something like that. Always, because people just different smells and all that kind of stuff. And
The air is just circulating and it's being recycled.
It's real thin in there, And I've gotten sick before flying. So, and I suggest too an airborne if you ever fly. I do take one every flight. I take an airborne. Just because I just can't afford to just get sick. It sucked when you didn't went on vacation or somewhere and you sick there because you didn't. Yeah, you had a 4-hour flight. Like,
or let alone you can't get back home because you got COVID.
These days,
these days, these countries is not letting you loose without no negative results. Or vaccination.
It's definitely one of them things where it kind of slowed everybody down, I feel. But sometimes that's what you need.
I think it has benefited us.
I think so. Oh yeah, definitely. A
lot of businesses.
I was gonna say, a lot of
launched,
PPP, a lot
like
of pushing
you mentioned,
P's.
Pushing P.
I didn't get a chance to, by the way. But if I got a chance to with y'all, man, I would have did it. Listen. I don't judge. I have no problem with y'all getting that easy money.
Yeah.
But I just wish I could have got it with y'all. Man,
so what does the P stand for?
The P, like the actual the Atlanta, like the gunner.
Well, yeah, I think that's the big question around this song.
P
what does
player.
the P?
You push it. You player. You push it.
Okay, but people are saying, pimp. You pimping. You pushing pimping.
Pimp
you got a lot of girls.
Pimp player to somebody.
Yeah, and then
player.
PUSSY.
You gotta get that.
Stuff. So I guess it could mean a lot of things. There's just a lot of conversations around that, and I'm just curious to know what you thought the P was. But you say pimp or player. I say that too.
I don't know.
I say player because I do represent for the players. I'm not a player, but I do like the music. The music, the music side of things.
You've been a player before. Don't start. You've been a player before.
Back in my day, in my past life.
If you want to play, put your jersey on. I'm telling you. I know you. Look, you like, I got a jersey. Stop.
Okay. Let's get back to this interview.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay, so why is being a comedian important to you?
It's one of the only things I know. The funny, the comedy, the aspect of it, the jokes, the way like I express myself. This is all I know. That's real. Every time, being like a young kid, people would just be like like you childish or something. Or I would hear, people might say something like, like, oh yeah, like that's extra. And then to me though, in the back of my head, it was always that like, maybe they just not enough. Maybe you just not enough. Why I gotta be like extra? I'm enjoying myself. I'm having fun. Look at that. We didn't talk this long with the teacher. Y'all ain't even gotta do nothing no more. Like, it would just be like little stuff like that. We'd be in class and I guess like I would be like that distraction, but teachers like loved me. We would just always have crazy, just like different talks. It would be just wow. Everybody knows if you went to school with me, that I was a pleasure to be with in class, just because of the strength of, for sure. No, we always kicked it. People, I remember underclassmen used to come up to me and be like, they so happy like that they got like a class with me, just because they know that like I was known for just that. I was whatever, like the class clown. My desk was always outside. Yeah, they just sometimes they just left it there. They wouldn't even bring one out. That was yours. Just stay here. And I still managed to all different stuff through that little window. Man, listen, so much fun. Yeah, so. Silly. That was just one of them things where it's just silly, like for me, like it's just like I'm just like a real silly dude. And even we was shoveling my friend's grandma's driveway yesterday.
Okay, I'll call you next time.
Yeah. That was honestly, I was helping the elderly. But you know what? I'm sorry, I ain't even gonna lie. I don't even own a shovel. Plot twist. I don't own a shovel.
I do. You fine.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Dang. Okay, huh? You gotta have something. Yeah. Look like I'm helping out. You gotta let me know ahead of time.
I got you.
I help. But I can't. You got gloves? You got gloves? Okay.
Yeah, I got gloves. I got everything you need.
All right, cool.
You just need to show up.
Say less. We over there shoveling. Somebody. Hey, for real, no. Dang it. I feel bad now. I would shovel your stuff. But now I feel bad because, she got me feeling bad.
All right.
I done shoveled Granny with him. I was like, I'm shoveling. But one of my other friends was like, I said something, oh man, I said something it was just something silly like that about like the snow. It was just like it was a stupid joke. Literally though, both of them look at me and just like, you always got to make a joke out of something. Like you always have to. Yeah.
You're a comedian.
So
it's 24/7, 24/8. You know?
Yeah, I can't fake
shut it off.
Nothing. I don't fake well at all. So it's so important to me because it's just all I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's just one of them things where it's like, that's all I know is like that. All I know is family. That's just one of them things. All I know is like communication. All I know, there's just certain things that just I I am fully attached to. And it's crazy though, because everybody always wants to attach me to just like, you know, like the stylist. Everybody's just like, oh, let me, like, oh, Tev with the, you know, but
you are the flyest comedian I did
jokes.
ever see, though. Come on.
That's like, love, too. That's love.
Know, you can play both.
That's love.
Comedian
I have heard that, too. That's fire.
Person.
That's love.
Yeah,
that's love.
For sure.
I had, it was a crowd work show. And the crowd work show is pretty much where you go and you just engage with the crowd. So nothing is written. You just literally, like, engage with the crowd. And I was up there with other, like, comics. And some of the comics decided, I don't know, they started making like a lot of jokes like directed towards me. And it was crazy. I didn't even realize what I had on. It was one of them things where like I just, a friend hit me up, fellow comedian hit me up, and he was like, hey, I want to fill the spot. Like, you know, you want to come through? You got anything going on? I was like, you know what, I'll blow down. Yeah, I'll do some stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, why not? So I get there and I had on shorts. I ain't gonna lie. I had on shorts. Lord knows, I had on probably high socks. You know, the usual. I kept it all the way spiffy, and because it was just like on the fly thing. It was it was a warm night, you know, and yeah, I guess everybody just started talking about me in the crowd. So like all the comics, like comic after comic was just like talking like about me, and I was so confused. So
about your style,
I guess
in a
so.
negative way, like
I
what?
guess so.
Okay.
With just just getting like their jokes off from the top of the head, but just more directed at my shorts.
Oh, okay.
So I said, okay, the game has changed. Now it's my turn. So when I got up there,
you start collecting. Okay, he said that. Okay, then, I'm gonna fire him up on the stage.
Took off on him. I took off on him. I literally took off on everybody, and it was like, it was a Lupe fiasco. Yeah, it was one of them, and everybody ate it up. Literally, after the show, it's just what is it? They had like a feature at the club, and the girl was from California. She comes up to me and she was like you were hilarious up there. And she has like a show in California too, so she doing her own thing, whole comment.
You never know who in the crowd.
Yeah, she like, man, you were funny up there. She's like, I like your swag, don't listen to them. Like she peeped. You see what I'm saying? Like she peeped. Like, oh, I see what's going on here. You know, like you putting it together. We all comics and stuff, so I ain't dumb. Like I see where the joke is. You know, I'm seeing what's going on here.
You gotta be able to take a joke if you gonna dish them out.
Went out there, flamed their ass up.
Look, period. That's it. End of story.
Wrong thing to do. That was the wrong thing to do.
I wish I would have been there.
It was
for
literally
that.
hilarious. Funny. It was like hilarious. So that's just one of them things. Yeah.
But memorable because of your outfit, and I think that helps you stand out amongst other comics.
I just like to dress. I just like
that's what I'm saying.
to
You
dress
be
how
dressing.
I want it. Yeah, it just
no
be me.
salad.
Just me. Oh,
you
thank
dressing,
you. Thank
no
you.
salad.
Yeah. You know, light Italian today.
Okay.
Light Italian.
Tell them what you got
dressing.
on.
Yeah,
tell them what you got on.
I did come Dolce & Gabbana on them.
Ooh.
Dolce & Gabbana boot. You feel me? All purpose all year round.
Period.
What else? Vibram Soul on them.
Slight,
if you hit something real light. What is it? I came, what is these today? What is these? Embellish. I came embellished jean on them today. Ooh. Real nice, real light. Come on, real light.
Patches in
you
the,
feel
in
me?
the jeans,
Came through.
Okay.
Came through. Jordan jacket, engineer jacket joint.
With
come on with the matching hat. With the come on with the infrared.
The Supreme.
Who's doing? Oh,
bag.
I did come Supreme on the real light just to carry my
your
teens.
fly comic over here.
Carry my teens real quick. carry my teens real quick. We won't.
Something
That's
slight.
all. This real light. This is a good light day.